My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
License plate 57092N1, 7NVU308, 91065P2, 7FCN515, 8SQM721, 7V80185. C license 8FFG954. The Orkin man is a stalker, in case you didn't know that, 73310H3. He's a stalker, a demon-possessed one monitoring American citizens. That's what the company Orkin's engaged in. 8FLK261, 8ZDT728, 7GBP165, I believe. I can't really see that one that clearly. I think I read that one. INTCEPR 7PTH036. Eight MQM933 3115 7KKA714 8ABB369 8XOY720 8JZB209 7T30222. And it is 7:13 a.m. It's Tuesday, June 14, 2022. City of Ontario engaging in the same tactic. The entity knows exactly where it is that I'm sleeping. They know where it is that I'm inside of a private space, a restroom, and pulling my panties down, knowing the moment exactly when I'm doing that. They know how long my panties are down. They know how many times I'm pulling my panties down in a day. All right, just to be clear, and the City of Ontario is engaging in the same act, acting as an alarm clock. This is the same couple, by the way, the same duo of minions, couple of minions, operating on City of Ontario vehicle, and they're on the ground. They're monitoring, but they're like staying at a distance and waking me up. And it's still monitoring though, but I just want to point that out. City of Ontario monitoring as well. The entity Omnitrans engaging in ongoing harassment. This is the entity that I'm dealing with a bunch of demons right here, okay? The P.O.C, you're dealing with Satan. And I am exposing what is a system of demons who are stalking and monitoring, and they did it to me, and I'm exposing their system. All right, so you're talking about what is Satan that is very, very hostile, because this system was never supposed to be revealed based on the agenda of a bunch of minions. All right, you're supposed to be written off as crazy. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to see the crazy ones. They're going to sit in mental wards in federal prison. With that being said, however, AT19715, 7UWS621, City of Ontario, the Ontario International Airport, 8CXF 823, Edison, monitoring American citizens, 58554N1, GPC, graffiti protective coatings, crossing path again, 8N78113, they engage in a lot of stalking. License 8NDX436, 9AFV111, and the City of I can't want to say City of Ontario, excuse me, and there's a reason for that, but the Ontario International Airport, hovering right over the 150, he's told who's monitoring, the San Bernardino County building. License plate 8APX834. And so with that being said, Omnitrans engaging in what is heavy duty harassment, all right? The amplification of the sound of their speakers while I'm on the grounds of the museum, so loud that it's waking me up, okay? The entities, that's demonic, and this is how demons engage in harassing you. The entity 8XLR210, 8XFP232, these are the same demons whose vehicles all have the same ability, okay, to somehow keep the center of the gaseous ball of fire, that is the sun, directly over my head, whatever route I am, whatever time of day it is, with what is beaming directed light, which is also manifesting on the roofs and the tops of the sides of the walls, all over my person. That same company, Omnitrans, is engaging in what is harassment while the entity knows that I'm sleeping. So I want to make sure that that's clear. It's demonic activity. And not only that, the entity is doing so while I am publishing, well, not while I'm publishing. This is, again, the entity that sits back and watches me prosecute it. So pay attention to what I published yesterday. The entity that stalked me by helicopter, that's the one that's stalking in the bathroom. That's also the one that's stalking in the bathroom and then waging allegations against you as though you're some sex offender, when actually Satan's the sex offender. In case you did not know, Satan is a liar. That's exactly what Satan does. A sex offender and then waging those false allegations. But guess what? You wage those false allegations and you summon the stalker that are the police who you're monitoring with, and you did it under the fake sun, you did it in direct light, you did it amongst an ongoing pattern of engaging in the same and entirely different cities. Oh yeah, that's exactly what Fontana did. That's exactly what Upland did. This is captured within what is the P.O.C. with regard to the entity that is stalking by law enforcement, a bunch of demons, criminal summoning, and harassing while you're documenting is their method of ongoing harassment and terrorism. You're also going to federal prison for that. That's not a small thing because you want to kick me out the library because you're mad that you're a stalker in the bathroom. And first of all, I know that because you're a demon and I'm not supposed to know that. And because you're engaging in what are demonic methods and I'm not supposed to know that. And that's why you're mad, first of all. And second of all, because I also surrounded you with what is not only existing law that you're in violation of, but law that I will enforce against you as the demonic entity that you are. Okay, you're not impervious to being prosecuted. This is why Satan is mad. Okay, that's a psychopath though. That's what you need to understand. License plate 8EWX994. That's a psychopath. That's psychopath conduct. And the entity is engaging in what is harassment together as one, in the same way that they're stalking and monitoring as one. All right, so this is what I published yesterday, and it's not just yesterday. I mean, I've been fully documenting an ongoing comprehensive system for a prolonged period, but you're talking about everything. Every time you're stalking me by helicopter is captured on video. And what are you going to submit in a federal court against that? Absolutely nothing. And those idiots keep on supplying evidence against their own criminal counterparts because they're group stalking. Student Transportation of America, license 7HYU316. And Omnitrans loitering in relevant position, 1302445, bus 1333, route 61, 8ZKP547. And it's currently 7:18 a.m. Just monitoring with the minions, just patrolling them. There are a bunch of hollow zombies stalking. And I didn't just capture that, I also captured what are the environment that these hollow zombies are stalking in. They're in an entirely, essentially a fake environment. It's fake. This has nothing to do with what is scientific facts. They're a bunch of sickos and engaged in what is supposed to be some ongoing secret society. It's not any secret. All right, and this one clearly engaging in stalking. You'll see them on camera on Omnitrans 5BHU306. That's a demonic pacing. Demonic pacing, driving that little beater to engage in what is stalking me. She needs to find a better job so she can get an actual car. Okay, she's driving a beater and stalking me. That's what's wrong with these demons. They're prioritized. They don't prioritize their kids. I am literally the center. Carrying around newborn babies, have them on the T, stalking me. License 12318D3. It's currently 7:19 a.m. And that's the same entity that was stalking all night, which I captured in a helicopter. Amplified plane activity is the P.O.C. License plate 8SAS352. And those stalkers move north up the street as I move north up the street. It's 7:19 a.m. This is P.O.C. 40124B1, that's SoCal Edison crossing path again. EXBURST. 8HQX388, 79550Z2 or 79550Z2. Or 72, excuse me. It either ends with Z2 or 72. That's FedEx. 4SVA 340. 6ZXL225. amplified plane activity, the entity that's stalking using airplanes, crossing paths above my head, engaging in demonic stalking conduct. Group stalking is about being in the path. Monitoring with communication devices is about presence around you. They are so comprehensive with stalking. They're using planes and helicopters, and that's what that amplified audible activity is serving. License 6XSH422 BP Q. I can't really see that one. You can scratch that one. 8VOP031. Five PKB 316, 8 PGJ 367, 8 TMP 205, 6 NDD 565, 6 M79238, 7 UFD 629, 6 E54 366. Six LCD 540, 8 ETU 730, 5 WUU 053. What you're listening to is demonic pacing. I'm naming one demon after another. These are demons. This is also illustrating impunity. This is impunity. When you sit in federal court, you're going to be prosecuted for this impunity. License plate 42664C2. Seven F831R2. 75831R2, excuse me. Chaffee Joint Union High School monitor. Crossing path. 6UCX427 1529426, Ontario Montclair School District. VRT3MIS 9AAM 221. 7NHC121 5933. I can't really see that one. 4WFR 905. 8UVY 870. Omnitrans Route 61 going eastbound crossing path. 6JIP 298. It's currently, by the way, 7:26 a.m. Chaffee Joint Union High School, demonic pacing, crossing path again. These are all demons that are pacing around me together. I want to be clear, as I identify a group stalker, a company name is analogous to naming a third party that's repeatedly pacing in front of you over and over again. Mary Jo, that's just pacing around you. A demon, that's terrorism, while a freak is being a weirdo. It's terrorism while they all do it together. This is group stalking, all right? This is on behalf of the state, who is pacing in airplanes repeatedly over the intersection. It's demonic activity, stalking in airplanes. And Chaffee Joint Union High School is pacing in vehicles with knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. They engage in the pattern of conduct with minions under the age of majority, criminal monitoring under the age of majority. That's what they're engaged in. And that's Union Pacific, that's amplified audible activity. It is currently 7:27 a.m. I want to say that was Innovage, but I did not see the logo, so. They are monitoring, but I did not clearly see that logo right now, so I'll just throw that out there. But I cannot state that I clearly saw that. I'm not sure if that was that particular minion operating that commercial vehicle. Edison, so-called Edison crossing Pathline to Hope Boulevard. 1469499, City of Ontario, 59966N1, 7UIU 407, 8KLB 759, 8GYE330. Transport U.S. License BD 826, that's handicap, 12131F3, 8NQW335. Excuse me, 5UPE 685. 8ULU 486, 13791 1V2, 35455V2, 34727. I can't really see that one. You can scratch that one. I think it was 34727G1, and that's Ontario International Airport. The entity is using commercial airline planes and smaller planes. It's the Ontario International Airport. Okay, I want to show you on video where the Ontario Police Department's flying over me at the museum. Okay, 60FF065. The Ontario International Airport's not flying over the museum. They're flying right here next to me where they want to be, a stalker. That's what a stalker does. Okay, stalkers are not welcome when they're following you in airplanes. They're not welcome when they're hiding behind the bushes where you live. Okay, they're not welcome when they're sitting around your car, menacing around your car, whatever property you have. Okay, you're talking about what's a freak weirdo that will be stalking you in planes and helicopters. That's what the Ontario International Airport is. You're talking about what is a property. Well, I'm telling you where demons work, where they're present. 58636Y2. That's what the Ontario International Airport is. You're dealing with the demon possessed because they shall be subject to what is an invasion, subject to federal law. I'll put it that way. But you need to know when you address that, you're dealing with a whole bunch of demons. It doesn't matter if they're wearing TSA. I don't care if they're there to get on a plane. They're demons. 64098L2. That's why they're using commercial airline planes stalking me. It's the ongoing symptom. This is demonic activity, and there is no exception. It's a demon-possessed population. It's currently 7:29 a.m. Five EWB 182, 8 GVS 640, 8 NSC 218, Omnitrans 1234515, bus 1222. And this is the same employee stating that his number is 3027. It's 7:30 a.m. Excuse me, 7:30 a.m. RXA067, and the City of Ontario's group stalking and monitoring, stalking in relevant position at the Chaffee Joint Union High School, Chaffee High School, where the Route 83 stops. City of Ontario, these demons are using a dumpster truck, remaining in relevant position where the bus also stops at that bus stop. That's called positioning, and they're using the lights on that dumpster truck as light activity. You have minions under the age of majority that are monitoring with the City of Ontario, facilitating that demonic activity, number one, and criminal monitoring, number two. All right, this is also, again, that demonic activity. You're talking about what is terrorism. 5 EKV 310, and I want to document that at 7:38 a.m. It's 7:39 a.m. YA5H511. That's a roof line. 8GMQ. I can't really see that. Just go that one. 38895B3. 82366G2. NRNBOWS 7VWD623. 7SHV428. 7YNB404. 7H60324. 7B37279, 7VCF829, in case I didn't read that one already. CEMEX, CEMEX, crossing path. That's a commercial actor. This is at 7th Street and Euclid Avenue, where the freeway, the 10 freeway bridges where I documented hundreds of minions, and the pattern of conduct clearly underway. Chafee Joint wants to stalk again, 1070958. There are nothing but demons that work for the Chafee Joint Union High School. And they're demons that engage in, again, more of that pacing around you conduct while you document them. In other words, while you documentation is referencing, while you name Satan engages in more of it. For EKS 739. This is not a coincidence while that logo is increasingly appearing as I reference that method of crossing a path. These are demons. 7VWD 623. This is what group stalking is. Loomis is crossing path as well. YASH 511 is that license plate that I already read. I want to make sure I read it correctly. That's a large trunking company, Roof Inn, if I recollect correctly. I just read them moments ago. Yeah, Roof Line, excuse me. Supply and delivery. Santa Ana, California. VIN number VIN is NM7758803. They're monitoring. License 7P27266 8CKM296. And it's 7:41 a.m. Alright, and again, that's license 1234515, bus 1222. Employee purported employee number 3072. That's Omnitrans getting off in Upland. License 7ZCP745 and 7UP. This is a commercial vehicle. That's the logo that's on it. So, yeah, 7UP US.1765150. Splash Transport Incorporated. License 9E22339. That's the license plate. And they're on surveillance cameras inside a 7-Eleven. They're in relevant position. They're engaged in monitoring. 7NPB087. 50599E3. It's 7:43 a.m. 7LO8355. United States Postal Service crossing path at 60 East 9th Street, passing a LORRAINE image right across the street from me. 7VJN049. They're monitoring with these minions that are pacing around on foot in the parking lot and vehicles. It's P.O.C. It's currently 7:43 a.m. 7KSC903 and 8S12787. 7BAR370. And this looks like school district. Visser Bus Services is a school bus crossing path. It's currently 7:48 a.m. And I completed my purchase inside of 204 North Euclid Avenue. This is the 7-Eleven in Upland, California. Vidco Foods crossing path. 8CYA357 right next to them. 7VCW918. 2959 OW2 8WMC 300. AmeriGas US.388004. See, I don't see a license plate, but that's the company AmeriGas. 6DTF594. 7VOS 809 and 2595LW2. Looks like the San Antonio. So we'll go in here. San Antonio Water Company. Their group stalking, pacing up and down the street. 39995Y2. 8JDJ950. It's 7:49 a.m. 7H86172. 7EKY807. 6WHD127. 08756L2. Enterprise truck 42520M2. Operating their phone while they're stalking me. 7EPW437. They're not just in violation of California law, operating a vehicle and using their phone. They're monitoring. They're demons engaged in unlawful operation of a communication device while monitoring. crossing path. Okay? It's unlawful operation of your communication device in the specific environment you're monitoring. That's why the specific environment is there. It is 7:51 a.m. You're present on behalf of the state. Understand this is how the government system works, because you're looking at supposedly a person which is separate from the state, the state of California, the police agent or the law enforcement agency that's placing you under surveillance. So you're looking at a person. That's what that's what the entity hides behind. So you're looking at what's supposedly supposed to be an ordinary person using their phone. No, you're looking at the state. That's what group stalking is. You're looking at the state that's following you around directly and vicariously. And the state is engaged in monitoring you with communication devices. 7AXBO55. It's currently 7:51 a.m. ELM 584 69136K3 8TAD 447. It's 7:52 a.m. FTV 986-68313U2 8HZN 570. And Omnitrans is arriving. I'm going to get back toward Ontario. The same bus, 1222, license 1234515. 7:52 a.m. All right, license 1234515, bus 1222. Monitoring with a bus load of high schoolers, and this is what Satan engages in while it listens to me reveal methods of its system. So you have, these are demons who are monitoring. Everything that Satan is doing is deliberate with regard to ongoing knowledge of my revealing its methods. So you have a bus load of demon-possessed teenagers going to Chaffee High School. They fill the bus, and they walk past me, getting off the front of the bus instead of getting off at the back entrance. This is also that deliberate engagement in a pattern of conduct while demons are aware of the fact that I'm identifying all of their tactics. And that is the City of Ontario Omnitrans monitoring with underaged criminals, because they're in violation of federal law. They're engaged in criminal. That's a very serious federal crime that they're engaging in, and they're doing so under the age of majority on behalf of a state that's engaged in surveillance. And this is also terrorism. It's demonic, and those are demon-possessed minions under the age of 18 terrorizing another, while they are, again, the same knowledge of fact. And so this is the entity engaging in terrorism with a busload of minions going to Chaffee High School, crossing path, one demon after another, getting off at the front of the bus, making sure to communicate that threat. And what am I speaking to? I'm speaking, you could have got out at the closest exit. They're all sitting at the back of the bus. They all walk to the front. This is what is that pathetic entity that's stalking by plane. Okay, I'm up here at C Street and they're making a U-turn. That's the Ontario International Airport. Stalking while I'm walking on the street, flying all the way over here far from the museum. 98QV 552 31016Z2, stalking as well. And so that's Omnitrans, that's engaging in what is criminal conduct, very serious criminal activity, criminal monitoring, surveillance on behalf of a state, which is also demonic. This is terrorism that the company Omnitrans is heavily engaged in facilitating, and does so with impunity and likes to do so with children. That's what you need to know. But they do the same thing with what is sexual violence, a demon molesting your body while you're molesting my body with engaging in that conduct with those under the age of majority. That's what Omnitrans likes to engage in as well. How Satan's going to be prosecuted for that, like any other sex offender, 8NRN 890. You're engaging in what is a sex crime while you're violating the person of another, and you like to do that with children, in the presence of children. All right, I don't care if they're demon possessed or not. All right, this is not some church service where we're trying to save anybody. I'm prosecuting. You're going to prosecute for what is demonic conduct, demented conduct that they have no right to engage in under the law while they're monitoring you. 7MAB 706. The fact that it's demented, the fact that it's out of the it's from the pits of hell is nothing more than context. All right. It's nothing more than context. It's terrorism while an entity is stalking you as a gang, engaging in what is placing you under surveillance, and engaging in what is highly demented, concerted activity on behalf of the government. That's terrorism. It's currently 8:04 a.m. That's Chaffee High School. a facilitating venue, and engaging what is criminal monitoring. That's what that venue is about, by the way. That's relevant to the way in which when you're speaking to, when we're prosecuting a jurisdiction for public corruption, you're looking at the high schools, you're looking at the elementary schools. I just want to be clear, that's relevant to the crimes that those third parties are engaging in. They're engaging in that criminal conduct, and you're going to prosecute with regard to what is that age of majority while that pattern of conduct is underway. It's directly relevant. These are the ways in which you are prosecuting an entity that's engaging in this, and you need to be cognizant of that. This is how you break that system down. It's currently 8:05 a.m. This is P.O.C. I want to document this is license plate 17046Z2. This is the same apartment where senior citizens live, and the entity is hovering by helicopter and commercial airline planes. This demon that's stalking with light activity is engaging in what is facilitation of that same exact system. Monitoring, it's terrorism. Demons follow around with flashing light, parked at the apartment where the entity is flying over hundreds of times, as I documented, not just yesterday, but on an ongoing basis, where the Ontario International Airport's flying over the apartment buildings where senior citizens are present. But that's just context as to what is an ongoing demonic system. That's why there's no complaints. That's why no issues with what would ordinarily be a serious nuisance violation. You're talking about zoning laws while they're hovering over, which I've captured in video and images. This is speaking to what is a system of public corruption. Ordinarily, airports are not hovering over senior citizen apartment complexes. That's a violation for quiet enjoyment, by the way. This is just common sense while they're engaging in this criminal conduct, which is demonic. And so I'm capturing this third party. She's creating light activity. It's the same system. All right. And that's how you are also easily identifying the system, by the way, where the entity is stalking you day and night by helicopters and by airplanes. The people that are around are a part of that same system. I'm just speaking to it's not some exception, but that's a method of light activity as well. That's within the ongoing pattern, and it's also that venue, 280 North Lemon Apartments, the Ontario Senior Housing Partner, heavily documented engaging what is state surveillance and terrorism for years. It is 8:08 a.m. This is P.O.C. That's captured in still images. You'll see that. Is there a line? Hi, can I just get a face mask? I don't.
Did you want a mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, this is
Jessica and Mickey, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, they're monitoring. The fake sun is over the side of the library while I'm standing over my head, and you have what is the engineered light. This is the remaining engineered light that remains on the staircase for the duration of the day. As you'll pay attention to the images that I captured yesterday afternoon, you're talking about what's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The entity is keeping the fake sun and keeping the engineered light. These are two distinct methods of maintenance of light while demons are pacing around. This is ongoing surveillance by a demon-possessed population. Remember, the entity is keeping the fake sun over the Upland Public Library. This has nothing to do with the natural environment. This is criminal monitoring, and the ongoing indication of stalking by the entity is underway. This is relevant positioning by a bunch of demons using a circulation desk as a method of what is presence in engineered light, using children engaging in that demented conduct, while they're also all monitoring documentation. It's currently 10:05 a.m. This is Ovid Family Community Library. This is P.O.C, and this is the entity that's engaged in surveillance in the private space, which is the bathroom, demon stalking in the bathroom. It is 10:05 a.m. P.O.C. All right, capturing what is surveillance upon my entrance of the venue, the Ovid Family Community Library. You have what's not possibly the sun, so showing what's the ongoing POC. Demons stalking in what is a demonic environment that is remaining over me, and that's how I'm capturing what is the supernatural, the presence of a light source that is referred to in ignorance as the sun, but this is speaking to the fallacy of that natural environment. It's an unnatural environment. And the prime example, as I stated, supposedly the sun is, and it's not supposedly because it's documented directly over my head in Upland, California at the Upland Public Library at 10 o'clock and before 10 o'clock, and it remains there until I exit after 6 p.m. So this is already documentation. When I am at the entrance, at the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. Today, this is where the fake sun is. And this is where you also, when I enter, this is engineered light. This is not the sun. And again, it follows, that's not sunlight also because the sun's over the Upland Public Library. It's not over some window over the Ovid Family Community Library. It's not happening at the same time. It's also not happening for the duration of the day at both venues at the same time, all right? And whereas the sun, again, the natural environment, does not remain stationary over a building, over a window, over an entrance, all day long. The entity is engaging in what is stalking in this engineered light. This is a deliberative body of demons who are acting in concert while they are maintaining what is noise. This is harassment while a psychopath is surrounding you in this way. This is the ongoing demon possessed that are acting together. So you're looking in the natural at what are separate persons, but they are acting in as one. Demons that are engaging in the maintenance, acting with regard to, they are literally in sync as the ongoing method of noise in this engineered light. They are shown to be the psychopaths they are while you look at the light activity that surrounds them. The crooked shadows of their chairs shows the crooked mind state that they seek to hide. All right, it's not hidden. They're a bunch of demons, and they're stalking. And they're engaging in criminal surveillance with the minions who I do know by name. I don't need to know the people of the state by name. You're documenting the state of California. But I have gone to the extent of documenting those specifically, who I will be prosecuting. And their prosecution will also be a matter of public information. But I'm establishing precedent, and I'm bringing shame to Satan today. And I want to be clear. These minions inside of the Ovid Family Community Library are going to federal prison. You have what is the egregious level of impunity that they continuously illustrate while I remind you of their identity, and you are constantly witnessing the ongoing stalking by the Ontario Police Department, a demon-possessed and entirely corrupt agency on whose behalf they are present in relevant position in a facilitating environment. They are under no circumstances exercising any First Amendment rights while they are present at work in the specific environment. That's why you document the environment that is entirely unnatural. This is how public corruption is existing. This is how federal group stalking and monitoring operates. It is both the exposure for what is demonic activity, which shall also be prosecuted as terrorism, state terrorism, while this demonic entity, that is the state, any entity placing you under surveillance, engaging in this satanic targeting system, is engaging in what is criminal monitoring. All right, and so I want to be clear, the entity is engaging in what is the ongoing maintenance of, and this is absolutely, not only is this sick, okay, they're a bunch of sickos, they're found out, this is Satan amongst the people, and Satan knows this and is sitting around staring at computers and pushing around book carts like they're fooling somebody. You're talking about what is a bunch of psychopaths who are engaged in obsessive stalking. Your society is no longer a secret, what you're doing, and the ways in which I'm going to prosecute you while you do just that. All right, so the entity is engaging in what is harassment, a demon-possessed entity that's stalking you with noise. And doing so, the environment is a library. It should be quiet. And this is how you're also understanding how demons are harassing. They're making all manner of a monstrosity of noise, if you will, okay? And doing so for purposes of harassing while I am in the process of documenting. But while, for example, the ordinary target individual that's subject to this pattern of conduct, and for example, you're just trying to sit in a library all day long, and you're not documenting. I am advocating on behalf of somebody who is subject to the system, and they don't have any way of enforcing their rights. Okay, so you are witnessing, or I am speaking on behalf, I'm advocating, I'm prosecuting, I'm documenting, I'm showing how that's done. I'm also speaking to, you need to be mindful of the one who is already subject to this, who is sitting somewhere probably kidnapped, who has already given up on the ability to enforce their rights, who remains subject to this demented system by government, and doing so having no way to prove it. And group stalking is very, very real. It's entirely evil. All right, so the entity's pattern of conduct is underway, and stalking with noise, this is what demons do in the engineered light. It's this combination of audible activity, noise, in other words. And they're doing so while they're walking around. You're looking at the demon, you'll see, for example, a picture. This is a female. She, first of all, this heifer, okay, because Satan gets no respect from me. They're all pathetic. They're entering in here to engage in stalking. That's literally what you're doing under a fake sun. That's literally what you're doing when you clock into work under a fake sun. Okay, and so you're engaging in what is the maintenance of noise, and you're doing so while you are maintaining awareness, while you're sitting, for example, on the opposite side of the room in the circulation desk, like Carlos and Mickey and Jessica and Greg, the Caucasian heavyweight, four-eyed minion. He's very effeminate, loud. Your first impression would be that he suffers from some mental incapacity, but I want to be clear, he has a spirit of Satan on him, and whatever mental capacity that he would claim is legally irrelevant. You're in the specific environment, and he's engaging in what is demonic activity, and he is no less of a vessel of what is criminal conduct and demonic. This is terrorism. So I want to be clear, for example, those minions are across the room engaging in what is the maintenance of noise and engineered light, while the entity is keeping the fake sun, as I documented upon my entrance, and keeping directed light inside, where these demons are pacing all around while I'm sitting at computer number 11. Sitting in front of me at computer number 2, this African-American female, she's sitting down, and their form is they're sitting down, you're getting situated, you're placing down. your objects, you're placing down your loud keys. Everything is loud and thunderous. When they're demons that are harassing because they're hostile while they know I'm documenting. This is harassment though. There are a bunch of demons that surround you and they're pacing around. And just get this picture in your mind because it's an entirely sick act that they're perpetually engaging in. And while I sit inside of this building, being covered in this engineered light amongst these demons who are placing me under surveillance, it's a sex offense. So let me remind you of that. While they are engaging, because the entity is touching while they're placing me under surveillance in this abnormal light. And this is why you're engaging in the maintenance of noise. And this is also what Alan and Japhet are engaging in. This is what Abigail is engaging in while they are entertaining the demons who are entering into the library for purposes of ongoing criminal surveillance. That's all you're doing when you have multiple shadows. And that secret is no longer concealed. Okay, so you're talking about what is wearing a skirt and some high heels while she's walking around. That was a demon stalking with activity as I started taking pictures. Okay, and this is what they're all doing on an ongoing basis. It's entirely demented. These are the same demons that know exactly while they're stalking with audible activity, in other words, sitting at computer number 11 as I have been. They are also maintaining ongoing knowledge in real time while my panties are down inside of a bathroom. And that is how you are aware of what is a sex offender. All right, and that is how you're aware of what is a psychopath. Using your conversation as a method of stalking with audible activity. A demon that's focused on you, who, by the way, does not have to look at you. All right, who, by the way, does not have to address you. All right, but who also is always showing what is their actual focus, which is you, when they engage in what are waging false allegations. Oh, you're admitting that you're clairvoyant? You saw me through the walls of the bathrooms? This is what I've already documented about this venue. While they're summoning the demon-possessed agency, the Ontario Police, who are stalking day and night, you're witnessing what is the conspiracy to engage in federal group stalking monitoring. That's why you engage in that conduct. Okay, this is why they're engaged, and this is a pattern. It's not just Ontario. This is a pattern. Engaging in that pattern, and in addition to what is the greater pattern, you're doing it under a fake sun. You're doing it in directed light. You're doing it while the same police that you're calling on me, when you're lying, because you're stalking in the bathroom, and you're a sex offender, and I'm prosecuting you for it. You're also summoning these same police who I'm documenting stalking me day and night, including with helicopters. All right, so this is how this pattern of conduct is underway, and this is a sex offender, and you are prosecuting the sex offender while I'm even not in the bathroom, because they are exercising real-time knowledge of what I'm doing. Psychopaths maintaining an ongoing course, a soundtrack of noise to harass and monitor. Okay, noise, engineered light, presence, the elements of monitoring, audible activity, relevant positioning, and light activity. All right, when they're walking around with multiple shadows, they're creating activity. That's why you're stalking and molesting with engineered light. All right, and so this is what they're doing while they're all monitoring with communication devices, a very serious existing federal crime. And they're doing so while I am in a bathroom. By the way, while I'm not in operation of a communication device, this is how you're talking about what's a sex offender engaging in predatory conduct, what's entirely obsessive and extreme. I mean, you're engaging in what is monitoring and stalking in the bathroom on behalf of the state. Why are you even... I mean, you're talking about what's the crime of criminal monitoring in and of itself, but I'm not pulling out any phone. I've used this before because it's the case, and this is how you're understanding a sex offender, an obsessed stalker, that is Satan. I'm not pulling out a communication device out of my genitalia. I'm not touching it when I'm in the private space. So you're engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking, and that's exactly what you're doing. You keep directed light in the bathroom, around the bathroom. You're pacing all around in the bathroom with your multiple shadows. You're crossing path obsessively inside and outside of the bathroom. You're engaging in that with the entity that's stalking by planes and helicopters. That is relevant positioning around the bathroom while I'm inside of the building. That's that ongoing state surveillance. That is the prosecution of an entity and the people of the state as a sex offender. I'm prosecuting it while I sit at computer number 11 because the same knowledge is applicable inside of the private space where these demons are corporately engaged in what is that invasion of privacy. Very sick conduct, very sick. And they're engaging in this while I'm sitting inside. So I want to be clear. This is Alan. Alan is a Caucasian male engaging in what is demonic and criminal activity monitoring, and also engaging in what is harassment. All they're doing is sitting around in group stalking with these demons who enter the library to engage in surveillance with them. All right, and these employees are readily identifiable. But let me be clear, everybody is on surveillance cameras, everyone. The entity is literally pacing on surveillance cameras. They're literally providing you're looking at psychopaths who are not looking for something. They're not forgetting anything. They're not going to get anything. They're pacing all around in engineered light. And that's what's also informative when prosecution is going to resort to the use of surveillance cameras. because you're learning about demons and what they're doing. And it's obsessive. You're going to see where I am, and you're going to see what they are doing around me, and it's entirely sick. In addition to what I document, I've shown you the light activity. So you're looking at surveillance cameras walking back and forth. Oh, you didn't forget anything. That's Satan that's pacing. They have multiple shadows when you're looking at them pushing a cart, when you're looking at them going in and out of doors, when you're looking at them going up and down the stairs, when you're looking at them carrying on a conversation, all right? And when you're looking at them running around, they're demons. All right, so it's currently 2:19 p.m. I want to make sure I identify by name. This is Alan, Carlos, Jessica, the Latina female, at the front circulation desk. JFed at the computer monitors where I've been. Mickey, she's the Asian female at the front circulation desk. Greg, also the Caucasian male. He's pretty loud. Appears as though perhaps he's got some mental issues. It's legally irrelevant. You're talking about demonic activity in the same way that a drug addict, it's legally irrelevant for what is criminal monitoring. This is demonic. And it is in no way any obstruction to the pattern of conduct, which is speaking to a spiritual condition that you cannot physically perceive. They are not engaging in what is demonic pacing based on their being inebriated or being intoxicated. This is what absolutely sober minions wearing suits and button-downs that are supposed to fool you as though they're above any sort of suspicion, which they're not, are engaging in this exact same conduct. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, this is demonic activity. So I want to make sure I clarify that. You have, Greg and JFed, Mickey, Abigail goes by Abby. And the third part, well, he's a state actor. They work inside the city library, Ontario City Library. He specifically refused to provide his name as I was documenting the Ontario Police Department flying over me repeatedly by helicopter, and I entered documenting the names of those who are inside of the library where the entities flying repeatedly over me at the library, which is a pattern. And this, he is heard on the podcast refusing to provide his name. This same minion is there. No one is a mystery with regard to, and it's not going to remain a mystery. I don't care. Like I said, you're dealing with what is federal law. And so the law, if you're talking about what I am doing nothing other than revealing and establishing precedent, showing how it's in no way impervious to prosecution, the necessity of what is the involvement of the federal government, and the ways in which it is a matter of public corruption that is comprehensive, all right, and how you are prosecuting under existing federal law and how supplemental federal policy is necessary. Aside from that, the ordinary strength of federal law to find you wherever it is that you seek to hide. Satan's not going to hide from anywhere. You can move wherever you want. The law will find you and you will be prosecuted. So refusing your name now is just an additional federal charge. That's the state that's stalking me by helicopter, threatening my life, and they're refusing to identify yourself. And that's a federal charge absorbed by the entity, as they are stalking and monitoring and harassing as an entity. And these are a bunch of psychopaths. Again, that's a psychopath that engages in that sort of conduct that's intended to torment the target individual in the same way that the demons that are the Ontario police, that's intended to torment you psychologically when they're repeatedly stalking you by helicopter. Those are the tactics of Satan. All right. And this is why they shall be subject to what are sitting in straitjackets, as I am naming employees. These are the personnel inside of the venue, readily identifiable, acting with every single last minion, using the resources in the library, on the property on surveillance cameras. And the properties over the Family Community Library are not the only surveillance cameras, and these are not the only means whereby the federal government will find out every single last minion engaging in this criminal system. And so, like I'm stating, this is relevant to what is mental institutions. You are placing sick people like this who are closeted psychopaths engaging in what is the torment and terrorism of another, where ordinarily you're talking about what's supposed to result in what is the defamation of that target individual who unfortunately lacks evidence, documentation, and any way to enforce their rights upon that documentation. I'm exposing not only the problem, I'm also presenting to you what is the resolution. All right, and so we're going to create what is carving out justice. All right, that is absolutely absurd. What I am witnessing and what is necessary with regard to, you're going to place these psychopaths where they belong, in federal prison, outside of any industry where they would be able to pose such a threat to the public. Okay, and that's also speaking to what is mental institutions, psychopaths, threats to society, literally. You remove them, you pluck them out. All right, it's currently 2:23 p.m. and I just want to make sure I include that. This is the same entity that is a sex offender engaging in that ongoing invasion of privacy, that obsessive stalking with audible activity, that obsessive pacing around me. That does not stop when I am in the private space. All right, it is currently 2:24 p.m. This is P.O.C.
kind of just walked away. Why had to go?
This is a demon talking about faults and strengths. And its audible activity starts talking on the phone when I start capturing images. Oh boy. This is criminal surveillance. A bunch of psychopaths sitting around with multiple shadows, stalking with noise. That was a method of stalking with activity creation and operation of a communication device and directed light, while a demon keeping their third eye on you is monitoring your communication device with what they're doing, and they're sitting around stalking with noise. This is ongoing terrorism. Psychopath conduct. You can see clearly the light activity, which fills the venue. There is no legitimate presence inside of this venue. It's nothing but surveillance on behalf of the Ontario Police. And these are demons that are engaging in ongoing noise maintenance in that directed light. You're literally looking at Satan while the chairs that they're sitting in have multiple shadows, crisscrossing perpendicular shadows. These are psychopaths. So what you heard is audible activity creation, a minion monitoring. All right, it is 7:48 p.m. Stalking with the police, molesting. OPDs at Wells Fargo, they're crossing path. This is a Latino male, license 8LRG968, that's federal prison. All right, they're stalking me with the police. That's entirely terrorizing conduct, and they're demons doing that together. The Ontario Police are on the surveillance cameras of Wells Fargo at 240 Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California. They are also on what would be visible, also the Ontario Town Square surveillance cameras. They line together. They're in an OPD vehicle. All right, and then that third party is driving right next to me. They're all demons stalking together, lurking together. This is terrorism. 6JDW421. It is currently, by the way, 8:57 p.m. I have just exited the Ovid Family Community Library, and this is upon exit. So I just want to speak to what is that ongoing pattern of conduct. This is what the demon possessed are doing inside of the library, pacing all around me in engineered light, sitting around stalking with noise as well, psychopaths. All right, and they're doing so. Sitting, literally, these freaks are sitting, the chairs, the tables that they're sitting at, they have all kind of weird, demonic, is what it is, light activity. It's directed light that they're sitting in. SWAC 328, 9012081. Demons stalking all day long. What type of person is spending the entirety of a day doing that? Because that's exactly what they're doing. You obviously have nothing else to do, so that's why I was also letting those demons know while they're listening to everything I'm saying. That's why they're going to sit in federal prison. 5MO8773, because they clearly have nothing else to do. I am that much of a priority. Oh, well, then you have plenty of time to sit in federal prison, sit in a straitjacket. So you have time out of your whole day to sit around stalking all day. Because that's what you're doing, stalking with noise, sitting around stalking in directed light. Okay, the P.O.C, there's no persuasive form. There's nothing normal about what you are, what you're doing. And that's why you have 3 shadows of the chair you're sitting in. You're a demon. And you're doing so inside of a license 6ZXV009. That's another demon pacing. This is the Ontario Police that's acting with these third parties pacing around me. And so that's what's so pathetic about this entity that engages in this system, 5NOZ723. It's currently 8:59 p.m., so I'm walking toward the museum, and this is the entity that's just following me. Bunch of demons just following, pacing around. That's a psychopath, that is Satan. It is, again, 8:59 p.m. The Ontario Police Department, it's 10:31 p.m. Amplified audible activity as they are crossing path. This is stalking. The Ontario Police using helicopter, ongoing stalking. This is engineered light. This is criminal monitoring, okay? They are monitoring with the people in the specific environment, stalking in a helicopter. And doing so at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. The entity is now physically flying in a location where I can see it. The entity has maintained while I'm at the museum the ongoing terrorizing act of surrounding me with the sound of helicopter, okay? And then flying over right now as I'm capturing on video. So I want to document that as well. It is currently, again, 10:32 p.m. That's the Ontario Police Department engaging in ongoing stalking to date. And that is the people of the state that are engaged in ongoing stalking and surveillance to date. This is criminal monitoring. This is P.O.C.